Our students are changing, the world is changing, the world is more digital, and if we aren't preparing them for this world of interconnectivity and digital transformation wherever they're going to go, then we are not doing a good job as a higher education institution. At the University of Manchester, we have been very traditional, very successful university, but very traditional in our thinking. So all of our students come on campus, but we want as many students as possible of all ages to benefit from our education. If we always say, okay, well, in order to do that, you have to come on campus, we're going to be really, really restricted. So we need to make sure that we take our education out into the world. In order to do that, we have to think more flexibly, we have to think more digitally.
The University of Manchester's vision for the Flexible Learning Programme is really for us to explore the extent to which you can increase flexibility of access to learning. We do that around a number of work streams, but principally around this idea of 3 Ps, which is place, pace and pathway. Flexibility of the pace at which somebody can study, the place from where they go to study, and the pathways that they choose through that study experience.
It is about learning in its broadest sense. Yes, education is part of that. The curriculum is part of that, teaching and learning and how we deliver those things. But it's also about the broader student and staff experience here at Manchester. And we wanted to be clear about how we could combine a bit of Manchesterness, that fairy dust that we have in this fabulous city, with what Jisc would be helping us to understand.
So the central learning experience is about everybody at the university. It's about staff, whether they're academics, whether they're professional service colleagues. It's also about the students, and we need to work collaboratively to actually ensure that what we develop as part of that central learning experience really does mean that we're supporting everybody. The Jisc Digital Transformation Research Pilot provided us with a really timely opportunity to think about what we were trying to achieve as part of the central learning environment implementation.
It absolutely fitted with what we wanted to do within the flexible learning broader programme. We've done an awful lot in flexible learning, and it is all geared towards our teaching and learning and our students. But that's just one part of the university. Why don't we look at the bigger picture here and look at our digital maturity across the landscape?
Jisc colleagues said, you don't need to do everything. We just need to focus on the relevant areas for us at the moment that align to our priorities. Then you can drill down into what's helpful for us right now, who are the right people that need to be in the room to have these conversations and set our next steps.
The research pilot was really useful in that we had an event as a result of it. And this meant that we'd got representatives from academics, but also from professional services, also from students as well. And importantly, having them in the room at the same time so that we could have really collaborative conversations to inform the decisions that we were making.
We've really taken a whole university approach to digital skills, looking at our processes, our practices, and providing support for students and staff throughout their respective journeys. We have used Jisc's Building Digital Capability framework as a shared language, and for raising awareness around language to use about digital capability. Digital capability obviously underpins digital transformation, and having the data from the discovery tool and also from the digital experience insights surveys is incredibly helpful in terms of progressing our digital transformation.
I can't tell you what a positive it's been for colleagues to feel that they have the benefit of a framework that has been developed and is curated by a trusted partner. It gives us huge credibility. There's been a real generosity of spirit around the way that Jisc colleagues and colleagues here in the university have been working together, sharing insights. It's not just about efficiencies, it's about genuinely sharing effective practice, looking at theory of change and impact. And I think it's so important in a university that it has to be bottom up and top-down. You need to start with something that's bubbling up from enthusiasm, from contact with our students, from our staff saying we need to get better at this is something that we need to do and take seriously. But then to make that fly, we've got to have investment. We need to have the senior team of the university saying, this is important.
The reason that we've been able to progress this pilot and the work of the work streams has been having that senior support, having roles that have the agency to be able to affect change. And in terms of enabling that transformative change, for me, it's very much having the right people in the room to have the right conversations.
And I think for me, one of the strengths of the framework is it gives you a language that you can use in all of the aspects of flexible that you might not have considered before, even if they're not always digital. It gives us a consistent language to work with.
There was a real impact from engaging in the pilot in that we had a sense of what we were trying to do. We understood that we needed a governance structure for the CLE implementation, and we developed that governance structure. But the access of the transformation model, of the maturity model, meant that we could review the information in the framework. What we now have in place is an infrastructure that enables us to consider different aspects of teaching, learning and student experience.
People are talking about digital in a completely different way now. And we definitely don't know the answers, but we are much more aspirational. We want to have a digital inside and out mentality. We want to have a campus that has a physical presence and a digital presence, and they are completely interconnected. We want our students to be digital savvy and to be prepared for that interconnected world that they're going to be part of, that working environment in the future.
The pilot has not just helped us with what we're doing right now, it's helped us to think about what the future looks like for a digital university and the transformation that we need to make that a reality.